It's time to look deeper into a brand new dimension of 2019's 360 camera market. Yeah. Introducing the brand new Insta360 EVO. The EVO is two cameras in one, a full-on 360 photo and video camera that also doubles as a 3D 180 camera with incredible 180 video stabilization. The EVO offers 3D viewing without a headset, meaning you can view your immersive 180 3D photos and videos without needing anything other than your phone and a simple phone accessory. The EVO is the little brother or cousin or long-lost uncle of the 1X, but how does it compare to the 1X? We'll find out by the end of the video. With 18 megapixel 360 photos, 5.7K 360 video at 30 frames a second, 4K 360 video at either 30 frames a second or 50 frames a second, and 3K 360 video at 100 frames a second, it's sounding awfully similar to another camera by the same manufacturer. But not only do these specs apply when it's in 360 mode, but also when it's in 180 mode, which essentially means you're getting double the resolution in half the sphere. Now let's talk about the design, and first things first, this is not a pretty camera. It looks like a black box of doom. In both 360 mode and 180 mode, it ain't winning any beauty contests. But that's okay, let's not be shallow, it's what's on the inside that counts. Well, at least that's what my mum told me. The camera has a series of latches to lock it in place depending on how you plan on using it. To lock it in, not only do you have to snap it in place, but you have to press down a button and then move a latch like that until you hear a click. Not ideal. Likewise in 360 mode, same thing. It has a hinge there connecting the two sides, which works perfectly fine now, but after 2 years of use, how well this is going to hold up? I don't know. One interesting thing I found is that the lenses are not offset, meaning that they're on the same side of the body. When you take a camera like the Fusion, you'll see the lenses are offset. This means the Fusion has a greater field of view because each lens is making up for what the other lens is missing. Whereas the EVO has them in the same place, meaning there's a bigger blind spot on one side of the camera. I do understand why they designed it this way, because to get 3D, you need the lenses to be exactly eye width apart. And if you did move one lens slightly to the side, it would no longer be eye width apart, so 180 wouldn't be possible. So I forgive it, but it is going to affect stitching in 360 mode. It has two buttons there, on, off, and change modes. And on the other side, we have an inbuilt 1/4 inch tripod thread. Micro SD slot, micro USB charging port. Yes, it would have been good to see USB-C. So the design isn't perfect, but it's passable. What's more important though is what the camera can actually do. Because this camera comes from the same makers as the 1X, and it wasn't that long ago that the 1X was released, the photos and videos are almost identical to the 1X, which is a good thing because the 1X is the industry leader right now, so you're getting more of that awesome photo and video quality. Clearly, they've used the same insides as the 1X and implanted them into the EVO. The biggest difference I've noticed with 360s has been the stitching. Because the EVO has a much thicker body design, there's going to be obvious cutoff around the stitching areas. Hold the seam line a foot away from anything and there's going to be obvious cutoff. In the app, they have stitching optimization, which usually does a good job fixing errors anywhere from 1.5 feet to 2 feet away and on. I think if you kept it on a selfie stick while walking around and shooting, this would help avoid this issue in most situations. Apart from that, I can't really fault the photos and videos I'm seeing. They're the same excellent quality as the 1X, and I'm really happy with these. It has 95% of the awesome features of the 1X, things like the awesome stabilization, raw photos, HDR photos, the list goes on. Check out my 1X videos if you haven't already to get an idea of what these cameras can do. But basically the EVO has 95% of the 360 abilities that the 1X has. What I think is unique about the EVO is its ability to turn into a 3D 180 camera. Yes, there are cameras out there already that shoot both 360 and 180, but with the EVO you get all the awesome stuff that comes in the Insta360 ecosystem. Their cameras get better and better and better, and there's an update almost every single week. We got that with the 1X, and no doubt the EVO will also become a much better camera with time. So far, I've actually shot more 3D 180 content with the EVO than 360 content because, as you guys will know from my previous video, 3D I think is going to be one of the next big innovations with immersive photographic technology. And the 3D photos and videos I've shot with it so far have been damn good. While I can't say with confidence at this point that it's better than any of the other 3D cameras out there, I can say where it differentiates itself is its amazing 180 stabilization. This is a feature that used to only be exclusive to 360 video, and they found a way to stabilize 180 so you can walk around and shake your camera and the bumps aren't really that noticeable. I found this to be really incredible, especially when watching back in 3D in a headset, to be able to move through an environment from the perspective of a stabilized 3D camera. It really does take things to the next level in making you feel like you are the one taking the steps in this environment. With most other 180 cameras, the shakiness would be enough to completely turn the viewers off the 180 3D experience. But when the footage is smooth, people keep watching. My theory behind how they do it is that the lenses are slightly wider than 180 degrees, let's say 200 or 220 degrees, and it then uses those extra pixels, that extra field of view, to compensate for the bumps. So when the camera bumps, the pixels move and it stabilizes automatically. I could be wrong, I probably am wrong, but that's my theory. So how this camera innovates is it now allows the 3D shooter to move through their environment with ease without needing a dedicated gimbal underneath the camera. Is that feature alone worth buying the camera? Well, if you saw it in full 3D in an Oculus Go headset, you'd be like, for me personally it is. For other 3D nerds out there, it will be. For people that shoot more 360 than 3D and aren't too keen on 3D, probably not. By the way, shout out to the RAW capabilities of this camera. I've been shooting a lot of RAW 180 photos with this. I've color corrected them in Adobe Camera Raw and the results have been extremely impressive. Take for example this shot here that I intentionally underexposed. Intentionally. A quick 1-minute edit of the DNG meant this photo is usable once again, and not only usable, but that looks pretty good. I haven't experimented too much yet, but I do see lots of potential in shooting raw 3D photos. You may be wondering what the deal is with the videos Insta360 have been putting out where people are crowding around a phone amazed by what they see. Look deeper. What does look deeper mean? Well, here's what it means. What they're using is called holoframe, and it's a phone accessory. It looks like a phone cover and it allows you to view 3D content straight from your phone. All you have to do is put it on backwards so the case covers the phone screen. Then you activate 3D mode in the EVO app. You do have to go through a series of tests to calibrate your eyes for this effect. Everyone's different, so it's important that you do this. But once calibrated, the 3D photos and videos will come to life and pop out of the screen. And it will be the same 3D effect that you would normally see in a headset. It's cool, can't deny that. It's freaking cool. So there you go. To those people complaining in my last video about needing a headset and how that's annoying, I agree with you, but you no longer need it. I wouldn't really use the smartphone method for too long because my eyes kind of started hurting after the third photo. I didn't want to do any damage to my eyes and I felt like something back there was telling me stop. So it will cause a little bit of physical discomfort. Personally though, I found using a headset to be an easier, more comfortable, quicker, and more lifelike 3D experience. You can also use Samsung Gear VR, and they do also give you a free pair of fold-away 3D glasses with every EVO. By the way, if you do own any of these or Google Cardboard or any kind of VR viewer, I will upload some samples of my VR 180 photos to VIA so you can check them out yourself and view them in proper 3D. That's what sucks about making a video like this. I'm like, oh my God, guys, check this out. And then I show you a sample and you're like, oh, that's actually not that great. And you kind of need this to actually be able to see what I'm talking about. So sorry about that, but all I can say is try your best to get one. Because as I talked about in my last video, I genuinely believe 3D is going to be a big part of the way we take photos and videos in the future. To cover the workflow real quick, on mobile, we have the same awesome app that we're used to seeing with every release of a new Insta360 camera. It's exactly the same as all of those, and it's awesome. One way they're innovating with the 3D workflow is you can now send your file straight from your camera to your Oculus Go headset via Wi-Fi. You don't need to go through your computer or phone first. That's cool because it takes one step out of a kinda clunky workflow. There's also a brand new version of Insta360 Studio released today that will allow you to stitch your 360 photos and videos on Mac or PC. Link down there. So I've talked about some of the similarities between the 1X and the EVO, but you probably also want to know how they differ, which one is better and which one you should buy. So while you do get a lot of the same things with these two cameras, like the image quality, stabilization, the workflow, the app, the many cool features, the first way they differ is with the aperture. The 1X has an f2.0 aperture, whereas EVO is f2.2, which means 1X is going to be the slightly better option at nighttime. While they both have the same 1200 milliamp battery, with the 1X you can remove the battery and replace it, whereas with the EVO the battery is built in and non-removable. The 1X has a screen and EVO doesn't. No question, that's a massive advantage for 1X. I think we can all agree that the 1X has a much better and user-friendly design as well as much better stitching. At the moment the 1X has way more accessories since EVO is still so new, but whether those accessories are in stock is a different question. The one massive advantage the EVO has over the 1X is the 180 option, to be able to shoot those amazing 3D photos and videos with amazing 180 video stabilization. This is two cameras in one, whereas the 1X is obviously just one camera. Finally, there's the price. 1X is $399, whereas EVO is $419 at the very cheapest. And there will be a whole bunch of bundle options for the EVO that include things like the holo frame, like a selfie stick, memory card, and a few other things. Yes, you will have to pay a little bit extra if you do want the holo frame accessory. So if you want the works, the price kind of creeps up close to $500. This puts them in two slightly different price brackets. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised Insta360 would release a camera with so many similarities to the previous camera they released just 6 months ago, but I think there are enough differences to set them apart. So here's how I'd summarize the main differences. With the 1X, it's more of an action-friendly camera. The stitching is so much better. It has the screen, which is really helpful when you're shooting on the fly and you need to get your content quickly. Also, generally, it's just easier to use because of the design, because of the fast workflow. It's the obvious choice for people who are only interested in 360 and have a budget of around $400. With the EVO, its unique selling point is its ability to do 3D really well. Firstly, the ability to do cool things like RAW and HDR 3D photos, but that awesome 3D stabilization, I believe, is one of the best features of the EVO. It's awesome. Again, it's one of those things you just have to see to believe, so for now, you'll just have to take my word for it. I wouldn't say the holo frame is unique to the EVO because this has been done before and can be done with other 3D cameras. It's definitely a cool feature, but don't think that this is the only camera that can do it. The EVO is a good camera because it does a bit of everything well. It shoots really impressive 360 photos and videos, but then it also shoots 3D 180 content that is on par with the other 3D cameras in 2019. So really it's for the person who wants to experiment with 3D, but still have 360 as a backup. If you like shooting both things, you're not obligated to stick with just 360, just 180, just 3D. You can have a bit of everything. There are other 360 cameras in the market that also double as 180 cameras, so you might be thinking, how does the EVO compare to those? Well, you'll just have to hit that subscribe button and wait for my comparison. Looks like I bought these from a sex shop. So that's it. That's the EVO. There will definitely be more coming soon. All the links from stuff I mentioned in this video can be found down in the description. And I'd be curious to know which camera appeals to you more and why. Let me know down there. All right, that's it from me. I'll see you next time.